Welcome back to podcast number 3 with Poor Bear Stories. In this episode, we'll be talking to Charlie Farrer, an entrepreneur and successful businessman out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Charlie teaches us in this episode that teamwork makes the dream work and has been the single biggest factor in his business success. And I think you will find that in Charlie's story, despite adversity, setbacks, health issues, he has somehow found his zen in fast cars, motorcycles, and a little bit of freedom. Enjoy the episode. So I want to ease into this one.
Yeah, let's do it.
So like, one of the big things I think for you, like I caught on was, like on social media, I was very intimidated by you.
Really?
Yeah. Like I wouldn't say you're like intentionally presenting that, but definitely like super intimidated.
Wild. Because anybody that knows me, it's not like that.
Yeah. They
like
know.
you'll tell everybody last night, like, yeah. And that's the thing that's different with social media. It's really hard to tell because everybody can have this persona and then in real life be totally different.
Yeah.
So I could see that, but I mean, I try to keep it as like low key as possible. I'm not trying to, like, the least thing I want to do is intimidate people. You know, I just want to have that open environment of, hey, this is fun. This is like, you know, real world of what I do or where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really interesting too because, you know, thanks for taking us to dinner the other night. We got to meet your super eclectic, incredible, so unique club of entrepreneurs and car collectors.
Yeah.
And what stood out was how easy it was to talk to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, when we first met you, it was the same vibe.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're kind of like drawn? I mean, it's just like good people, right?
It's just, yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you are who you surround yourself with. Everybody's very much like-minded. Everybody is, I mean, there's a lot of A-types in the room, so to speak. But that's what makes us so passionate and why we get along and feed off of each other. It's very rare that you meet people that are like-minded, that want and push you to succeed. And that's what's great with my groups of friends. Every group of friends that I'm close friends with, we all sincerely want to push everybody and have everybody exceed more than our dreams could imagine, you know, and that's what friendship is. You know, you don't need the guys that are going to question you or, you know, somebody's going to start a new revenue stream or business or passion. We're all for it. Like, we're excited for it. We're not like, oh man, I don't know, that's risky. That does not come out of we don't speak that language,
Right.
you know, because we know any of our friends can do that and persevere. If they want to push that, they're going to push it and we'll make it succeed.
No matter how ridiculous the idea.
Right. Yeah, because we've all had ridiculous ideas, you know.
I mean, just literally, I'm sitting, you know, talking to your two friends. I won't name them, but
yeah,
he's like talking about making such niche products and how he kind of like fell into them from making bats for the Major League Baseball to then making foam inserts for like
everything from weapons to those toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but that's the niche. Like, what you have to realize is that's the cool thing about life. Look at my two industries. They're complete opposites. You tell somebody I do artificial grass and then I do the other business and they're like, what the? Like, it doesn't even comprehend. It doesn't make sense.
No.
But guess what? It doesn't matter if you have a passion or drive for things or experience at those, you can make anything work. Like, any successful businessman could go into any avenue and make it work. You know, you do need to bring in the right people to help implement that if it's a field that you're not professionally proficient in, yes. Sure. But if you have the business acronym, dude, you're gonna crush it. You know, because you've already persevered, you know?
So we don't have to go too much into detail, but obviously our paths have crossed because of our passion, association, the community around special operations.
Yeah.
And you have obviously come to respect, admire, and work with, and see the work of these incredible human beings and what they achieve. What do you see as an entrepreneur in yourself? How do you perform in at a level where you can kind of respect yourself and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys are way up here.
Yep.
And you see them, you see how hard they work. What is that? How does that translate for you?
It's the same discipline. I mean, that's why I'm great friends with so many guys in that arena, and why we can cross-pollinate, and why we get along so well, and why we build all these tight friendships is because we're the same type of people.
Yeah.
You do not succeed in business or in that arena, to become that level of an operator, so to speak, without having that perseverance in that type of mindset, and also being a team player. So you're naturally going to just assimilate with each other, because even though you're in two different arenas, you're still going to acclimate, because you're doing the two things. It's just two different fields, and that's the way I look at it. And I have so many great friends and close friends that are totally different backgrounds, but yet we freaking rock stars. We click,
And then the other thing, I think, there's a spectrum of parting. We've talked about this a couple of times. Like you've got your guys who are like straight and narrow.
Yep.
No tattoos.
Right.
Which some people find hard to believe.
Yeah.
And then you've got guys that can operate, downtown at a very high level and then report for duty. And that's, of course, like my dad. Like I have my dad's stories. He was nicknamed the rock star by, his commanders, OIC. And so I have all kinds of stories about, my dad's partying and Waikiki Beach and,
And that is the funny thing in that community. I mean, for the majority, especially at the younger age, I mean, like I've told you, we've had guys here, and I have 20 guys sleeping in the floors of my house, going to bed at 5 in the morning, and then we have to get up at 7 in the morning.
Jeez.
And they'll do that for a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
you hang?
Freaking, I hang, but it's harder now. It's much harder now. I can do but the great thing for me is I don't always have to be where they need to be at that time in the morning. So I can be like, all right, I'll see you guys in 3 more hours, you know? Yeah, but I got to make sure they're up and out the door.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
the
whole,
job's done.
Yeah, and that's the whole fun thing. It's, but then you'll have guys in that same, say, group or squadron, and there's dudes that won't drink. They're going to bed, like when they're done training, and they still all have a great ethos. They still work together extremely well. And then you have other groups within that same arena that are just different in how they work and how they have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then you go to totally different, CAD guys, and you definitely have a different type of demeanor and presence with the different groups. They're really different, which is crazy, but yet the same but different, But I have friends like guys that are fully inked up, and then I have guys that don't have one tattoo, and you think every team guy is some bearded dude that has ink, and that's not the case. Like there's dudes that can't even grow facial hair, and they'll be the first one to be like, I can't even grow a beard if I had to, So it's just, it still works,
So you've obviously had a lot of exposure to this community. How has it, in a way, affected how you've returned to your business side, to civilian, so to speak, entrepreneurship? Has it shaped it at all for you?
And I hate using this word, but it's true. Like their brotherhood, and they are so tightly knit. It makes me want to make sure for my team and my installers and things like that, even on the grass side, synthetic grass side, that I try and build that same thing. So I give them a lot more responsibility to make sure they feel like a team, they work as a unit. They have responsibilities, and they can all speak out freely with the team lead, just like in the other side of that arena that we're talking about. And that's why I've learned a lot, because I've seen it. I've seen it work, and it works extremely well. And ultimately, whoever that lead is will have the ultimate decision. But at the same time, everybody is able to speak their mind. And that's what we try and emulate too, because it works, and it works in any environment. So, it's a no-brainer to implement in any scenario that you want to implement it.
It's working.
It works. Yeah, and it gives those guys more freedom to not hold back, because the guys that are, quote, boots on the ground, they'll know more than anybody that's managing them. Those are the guys that see it, live it, breathe it. If they need certain tools, if they see different things that are happening and the environment's always changing, same thing for any business. If you have a team and you have management and that team's going out in the field and seeing things evolve, they need to know to be able to come back and talk to management and like, hey, we're doing this wrong, or hey, these other guys or these competitors are using these new tools or tablets or whatever they're using, and we're not having the competitive edge on top of them. Well, the only way management's going to know to implement is if they're coming back and having the free speech to say, hey, we need to change and evolve, or we need to adapt, because what we're doing last year is not working now. So you need to do that same with your team, your sales team.
So would you say that teamwork is almost one of the biggest components of a successful business, or the way that you operate today?
The old saying, teamwork makes the dream work. I mean, that's true. So you have to have that. And anywhere, like we've discussed before, where, if I hire somebody for even the installation crew, I tell that new employee, this is not my choice. This is my team's choice that you're working with.
Right.
So if you don't work with them, you don't work here. You're not going to come back to me and it's like, hey, no, they're doing this. Sorry, buddy. Like, if you can't get along with them, it's not up to me. It's up to them, because you're working with them.
Right.
And my guys are priority.
Wow.
So
in a way, that's kind of scary,
But
like
it gives reality of like, oh, shit. So I need to make sure I have my A game. Right. And they'll read through people within a week or two and know if he's a real worker, if he's organically just going to connect with the guys or not. Like, my guys will know in a week of working with that person if, like, thumbs up, this dude rocks, he's in, or like, man, I don't know, we'll give him a few more days, but, they'll know. So, yeah. And I give them, that's what keeps your installers, happy. Because if you have that one dude, then guys don't like showing up to work. They're not getting along with that one person, or he's not working as hard as everybody else. It deteriorates your team, So, if you can't pull the workload like everybody else, you're not going to work. If you don't have the same personality and able to communicate and have that good gel, because you want to enjoy coming to work every day.
Yeah.
And that one person can ruin it,
Do you have a favorite car movie?
No, I don't. I don't even know any. Like, not really.
You just
like, don't say
scene.
Fast and Furious, because that might be yours. Because I know you're into more of those cars. Which that's probably, is that yours?
My Super RZ is my dream car.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
But that's like your generation more than like mine.
Right.
I wasn't like.
What'd you
Those cars are cool, but that's not my car thing.
You had
like,
a picture
I'm
with
more
a
like
Corvette.
V8s and flames,
Muscle,
and even though you have, but I'm not into like, 4 cylinders that are pulling out 1,000. I want 8 cylinders that are, like beasts, like, yeah, so totally different. I don't know what my, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you heard one of my cars earlier today, like, it's a different car.
Oh, it's money.
So
it's gorgeous.
But I love both, but you're not going to see me in a RX-7 wide body,
240,
whatever. Yeah. It's just not my style, I'd rather be in a 69 Camaro or like, a fire breather, big monster.
Yeah.
So
what kind of cars have you gone through?
Oh, geez. Been through the Ferrari thing, and it's not my cup of tea. You go, and no offense, Ferrari guys that are out there.
Sure.
But when I show up and guys are in shoes to hats to everything Ferrari, it's like, oh my God, And then I went through the whole Lamborghini phase,
You
which
didn't
I
want to wear the
still
whole
love.
outfit.
I never
didn't
will.
want to wear
I
the-
never
the
will.
Merce.
I won't even wear a Ferrari hat, dude. Like, I can't do it. Like, I don't care if I had 20 Ferraris, I'm not going to walk around with a Ferrari hat. But that's just me. And then Lamborghini was really good relationship. Guys are a little bit more driven. McLaren, I've had a couple McLarens. Absolutely love the brand. Real pure, more enthusiast driven, I think. Porsche is been a good brand. I really love it. I don't do anything with the club because it seems like a lot of them are just older dudes.
Sure.
But I do like the Porsche Club Sim Series races on the race simulator. Amazing people in that group. Super competitive, 4 different levels. So it's all different, you know. And that's why I think like one of our clubs, like Fastlane Drive, some of the guys that you met last night, you know, you had an interview process. You have to then get approved to be in the group, and then you pay a fee every year. So that weeds out a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then you already have a better qualified group.
Yeah.
That's just organically better. You know, they don't bring guys in for the money because they don't need the money. We're bringing guys in that are like-minded, you know, and it's just weird how that naturally works. You'll have guys of all different ages, but all of them are entrepreneurs. A lot of them have multiple exotic cars, but it's not, what it comes down to for that is we don't care what cars you have. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a car or not.
Right.
It's just, it comes
more about the
down to
person.
more person, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend more time with that person than with that person in their car. So that's huge for the car arena side, at least, you know?
So cars obviously bring you right back to people, right? Cars,
Right.
the experience of the car, it's community, right? It still is community for you.
100%, yeah.
Right? But back to the fun stuff.
Yes.
Driving experience.
Yeah.
Like, have you like gelled really well with, you know, Porsche because, you know, the track experience, or kind of like what is it?
I don't do a lot with Porsche on the scene except for
the sim.
driving on the track and with
Okay.
the Porsche Club.
Right.
Yeah, for the sim.
Right.
And that's it. Outside of that, I really haven't. I have friends that are part of it and they've done events, and hopefully they don't shoot me or kick me out of the club right now. So, but you know, it's just, I haven't really done any events. I'm just from hearsay. So
then, you know, like you know, I'm a little kid, right? Like I wanna be in your shoes. I wanna be in your hands of, you know, what's the wheel feel like for these cars? Describe a little bit like
for me, you could like, I love the cars, and it's more because they're art.
Yeah.
And they give me an adrenaline kick, and I'm not really, I don't take them out to dinners or try and show them off on the streets.
Okay.
Like if I'm going out, I'm taking Uber because I'm going to have a drink. So I'm not going to drink and drive.
Right.
And so my passion's on the track. That's it.
Yeah.
That's where my main passion is. So I'm more race car driven than street car driven.
Right.
I'd way rather go on a track any day over the week than do a drive somewhere to Sedona or something like that.
Okay. On the
Because I just,
countryside
yeah, I mean, you know, the track is where I feel,
It's where you
know,
get that fix.
I could focus, I could work on lap times, passing people, getting past, out braking, beating lap times, having control of a vehicle, and trying and better yourself, you know.
How many different cars have you had on the track, or different brands?
I've had, for race cars, 5 race cars, 5 different race cars. Yep. So,
Any
not bad, it's not crazy, but yeah.
any like preference or
They were all different.
yeah?
So one was like an LMP 3 style type car, super lightweight, you know, 2,500 pounds, 650 horsepower, tons of downforce. And then where you're pushing a little bit more G's in the corners, it's a little bit more of a car that you have to finesse, and it gives you a lot more, like, you know, you do
Kinda chasing
4
your
20-minute
line.
sessions, the next day you're sore. You know, your body is sore, your neck is sore. And then you go to, I had a Black Dog Speed Shop Z28R Pratt & Miller built car that raced the Pirelli Challenge Series. And that's a totally different beast. You know, V8, more of like a GT4 car, manual. So totally different animal of a car, like a real hands-on manipulative car, but in its own right, super fun to drive because it's just a beast of a car to drive. You know, that thing's, you know, 300 pounds, 500 horsepower, but with the weight, you know, it's just not as much downforce in the aero. Then I had like an RTR wide body with 700 horsepower, sequential gearbox. That was a fun car. I had a Lamborghini Super Trofeo Evo 2. You know, Lamborghini's purpose-built race car for the Lambo Super Trofeo race series, where you race that against other Lamborghinis. They have a great, amazing series, super competitive. And that car is just a beast of a car. You're running, I think, 640 wheel horsepower or 640 crank horsepower with about 2,800 pounds. Just an amazing car. And it's, you know, to drive that car wicked fast is hard to do. And then to my current car now, which is Porsche made 200, they're Porsche GT2 RS cars, but they're called Club Sports. And so they made 200 of them in the world. There's about 35 to 40 in the United States. And I have one of that car, and that's a 700 horsepower, just a beast of a car. And probably one of my favorites. It's super easy to drive. It really has the nannies for a gentleman driver's car to sort of save you when you want to. Like my sister was out here a couple weeks ago for a parents' weekend and at ASU, and you know, we did cake stands and all this in the afternoon. In the morning, we went to the track, and I literally almost lost it twice. And she's like, "All right, I'm done.
Dang.
Like full lock, going sideways, going 80 plus miles an hour, almost going off the track. And she's like, "All right, that's enough." And I'm like, "No, we're good. The tires aren't warmed up yet. I'm just pushing it too early. You know, their tires only 24, and I need to get them to 27. And the only way to do is heat them up." And I pushed the car a little too early in a couple of laps, and she just freaked out a little, which I don't blame her. But we didn't go off the track or hit anything, so that's good.
Yeah, that's really good. So you have now this totally different side of performance, which is the bikes, right? Totally different.
Totally different. Yeah, it's a whole nother universe. And what's I love about the bikes is you have to use every ounce of energy, muscles, finesse, your core. It's just every little movement you make on the bike affects what the bike does.
Right.
And I just love that. It's stupid sport to do. It's super dangerous. Like, we have friends, every year I get injured.
Yeah.
Like last summer I had shoulder surgery because in a race in California at the two-stroke Worlds at Glen Helen, guy was going off a jump, was too close to another guy, cross-rutted in the air, was flying right in front of me. I had nowhere to go because I was already at the base of the jump, staying in my line. And I'm like, all right, I'm probably gonna hit him in his hip or legs, and I'm toast because I'm like third gear wide open.
Jeez.
And I end up hitting his femur, break his femur, and tore my, just from hitting the impact, tore my supraspinatus, my long head bicep tendon, minor tear in my labrum, and separated my shoulder. So that took me from surgery in July till January. I was able to start lifting 5 pounds. And then by this July, I finally could be lifting weight. It took a year to recover from that. So I missed a year of riding, and then you're in, a sling for a month, and it's a long time to recover. And then the year before that, I had a back fusion, L5 fusion. This year I came up short on a jump, and it's called like a Liz Frank induction or something in my left foot. And I said, screw that, I'm not doing surgery for a third year in a row. And they made me wear a boot out of the place, and I got to my car and I put the boot off, and I didn't wear the boot since. And I'm like, fuck this, I'm just gonna ice it. And
where did you get that from? Who
I am just so fed up with getting surgery every year.
Put some dirt on it.
Yeah, dude.
Was that?
It sucked. No, I was like, I'm
you?
not doing surgery. Like, I'm not doing surgery.
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, you just got to have a couple, bolts put in, hold it in place because 2 mil separated.
Holy crap.
With the where the tear was and everything, and that's the only way to do it. And I'm like, I'm just gonna ride it out, see what happens.
Wow.
And so I started I was limping everywhere.
Yeah.
And then
This was how long ago?
This was in March of this year.
Wow.
And it's still swollen and everything, and it still hurts to walk. I mean, I could run right now, but it's not good. Even in the race car, when you're putting so much force on the brakes,
Right.
Because you got really put a lot of force on the brakes, it hurts
It'll
like
come
the
up.
next 2 days. And,
Right.
I rode for the first time like a month ago since that.
No way.
And when I land and stuff, I just put more weight on my right foot
More
than my
hill.
left foot.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and the doctor said, well, he's amazed because usually you have to get surgery. He's like, the only problem, it's going to be weak. And so when you do injure it, you're going to now have to get a fusion in that area. And he says the same downtime, you have like a 80% chance of running, 20% chance that you won't. But it's the same if I did the initial surgery. So I'm like, I'm not really losing anything.
Sure.
And I had this life this summer where I could do things
Yeah.
and not be, going through PT and everything all over again. So it's just not a smart sport to do, but like it's hard to like not do it. I don't know. I tell myself it's the stupidest, and everybody around me is like, dude, when are you going to stop doing that? And then all my motocross friends are like, bro, when are you riding again?
Yeah.
And it's like, so you're torn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the smart side of me
Yeah.
is like, this is the stupidest thing in
Yeah,
the world
yeah,
for you
yeah.
to continue this.
Right.
And then my endorphin side of me is like,
When you
let's
get
go
out,
ride,
yeah.
So it is what it is.
I know.
And I look at it like this, like, I've lived this long. I've had an amazing life. I'm going to keep doing what I do until I don't feel like doing it anymore.
Sure.
And if I get injured,
Yeah.
I'm like, screw it. I'm just, if I listened to everybody told me what I should and shouldn't do, fuck, man, I wouldn't be doing anything that's fun.
Right,
I mean, so I'm just gonna live my life until it kills me, or until I can't do it anymore. So
It's like, it sounds like you wouldn't necessarily be interested if you couldn't push the envelope of like, every part of your life.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Then it's not
why
as interesting,
live? Why live? Yeah, I mean, I'm not working my butt off and doing all these things to retire when I'm 60 or whenever, 55, 60, and then what am I going to do? I mean, come on. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to travel, do whatever I want now, because in the future, life is not, who knows, who knows how long we're really going to live. So I'm going to live my life to the fullest.
Sure.
And like I said, like we've talked about this before, if I die next week, I am lived a full life. Like nobody should be like, oh man, his life got taken away from him early. No, I have lived the fullest life that I could up to this point in my life. So
was there ever a perspective shift that got you to that perspective? Because I know I personally had it when my dad died.
yeah.
Like, I mean, in a very bad way at first, right? Like,
So what was it?
so when he was killed when he was 36.
Right.
And for me, it was like, well, if God can take my dad away when he's 36, then I dare him to take me away before. Like, that's a pretty toxic.
So
way
what
to
was
look
it?
at life.
You were just like,
Adrenaline junkie.
yeah, you're like, hey, I'm going to push it. And
Push everything.
if I pass, I pass.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I dare you to take my life, and
Yeah.
like, I'm sure my family's gonna cringe at this, but of course I've evolved from this thought process. But I definitely, I was for 7 or 8 years after he passed, 23 years old, 24 years old, just like testing the boundaries of life in like the most toxic way.
Yeah.
Of course, like, like I said, I evolved from that perspective. I think I pursued different things that I feel like are going to be more fulfilling. I'm chasing those lines, right?
Well, you're maturing. At that age, think about where you are now and where you are then. I mean, do you regret living that lifestyle for a little bit? Do you look back and go like, man, I'm glad I did those things. Like, I'm glad I had a free spirit for a little bit. And now, look how much look how much you've progressed from then and now.
Sure.
And then what's crazy, Jacob, is where you're going to be now. And if we get together 10 years from now, you're going to be like, holy shit, Charlie, I never thought I would be here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I guarantee you that this 10 years, this 15 years is absolutely.
We'll do it.
So, but back to you, the perspective shift, has it always been that way? Have you always looked at it like, I'm just fifth gear pinned, I'm chasing this life, or did you have a perspective shift?
Yeah, I think, when I was in college, I think because of my family, I always thought, I'm going to graduate, get a normal job, 8 to 5, get married, have 4 kids. And I thought that was just what everybody did. You know what I mean? And obviously, clearly, my life has not gone that path. But, God has our own path and pushes us in, whatever path he feels is correct for us.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, again, like that's just, I like it. I like doing that. That's what drives me.
It's just natural.
That's what naturally plants me. Like I need to do that. If I don't do that, I'd come out of my skin. I need to still to this day have that release and that endorphin release where I'll go to the track, I'll be driving home and with a van and car trailer and everything, and I'll be doing the speed limit, like as calm
like,
could be.
Can I get a tea, please?
Yeah, like kumbaya, namaste, whatever. Yeah. Like I'm so like
you're like bleeding.
I'm so like at ease with life and with myself, and like same thing with the track or like surfing or like any of those things.
Yeah.
You get out when you're done, and you're just like. Or even just my family does it. I go home for the holidays and spend the week with my family. You're like rooted and organically reset.
It's your meditation.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It works, But I need it.
Maybe not for everybody else. But.
Maybe not. But I need it. It's what resets me. And then I go to work on Monday and I'm ready to go. I'm mentally, physically ready to put in that workload. And do whatever hours I need to put in that week to make it happen, and I'll do it all over on the next weekend,
Yeah.
But that's how my life is.
Yeah.
So.
And in that way, that process, that routine is like, you don't have regrets in that,
No,
like,
not at all.
So you found a way to live.
Yes.
Yeah. And not be like,
that's my life.
Hate my job, hate my.
No,
hate
I mean,
Dan,
listen, if I hated my job, I'd be selling my company or find somebody to run it. And trust me, every manager or owner or every employee goes through those weeks where like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm miserable. Yeah. But then you give them a couple days and they go back to work on a Monday and they're like, all right, no, I know what
going
I'm
through
responsible
the motions.
For. Right, I know why I'm here. I know why I want to be here. And if you don't have that, you need to find another, career, another path, because you have to have that passion. Otherwise, why are you doing it? So.
That's really
like look at you. Like look at your path.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be doing this unless you felt how much you're giving back and offering to everybody else.
Oh, I love it.
Right. Like so, this is you found your market. You found your niche and what you're passionate about, and it works for you. You're blessed, so.
But for those who, I think it almost sounds untraditional, kind of your entrepreneurial story. You were standing on a golf course in between businesses or a mini, putting green. And you decided you wanted to go into this business, and you have found passion through that process.
Yeah.
So
what's cool though is I love the outdoors. And that's why I'm like, all right, I'm going to do something fun. I'm outdoors. I love transforming things. So I could build something for the customer, have the customer excited about it. I'm doing what I enjoy. And that's how it actually started.
Well, because you did have your landscaping business as a young adult, right?
Right, yes.
So
and so I've already knew, like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
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 Exciting. So you kind of take something from your youth, you were 16, 17, right? Something like that.
Yeah, when I started doing the lawn stuff was 14 or something. So, because I did the paper route first, and then worked on that horse breeding farm, and then dove into mowing people's
Then you
lawns.
were like, I can make this work.
Yeah, but I mean, it was easy. I mean, literally, all I did was mow lines in a yard, weed whacked, and blew.
And you
Like
made a lot of money.
anybody could do that,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, I was making
$50 a
I
lawn
was
a
making
week.
like, sorry you guys, we had some friends show up. I was making like $50 a lawn, and I could mow 2 lawns a day. Like that's not bad money. It's cash, you know?
Well, I think it's time to celebrate with friends.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
All right, brother.
Charlie, thank you so much.
Hell
and,
yeah.
and of course, where can we find you on social? Like, if we want to follow your business, reach out to you, where can we look for you?
Well, the companies are paradisegreens.com, ataxsoul.com, and just Charlie Fair for YouTube or Instagram. So,
Cool.
yeah, love it, brother.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, you got it, man. Pleasure. You know that.
God bless you, brother.
Yeah, God bless you.